All right, let's get started. Let's get on our mats. Well, I'm going to get on my mat. You're probably already on your mat. Let's get centered. Now, your choice here is I'm sitting up on a block. I really like to sit on a block. I have my block crosswise and I'm just seated on it. But please feel free to lie down, lying down with your knees bent and feet on the ground or legs long. So nice. If you watch my video on Monday or you're a student of mine, you can roll up the blanket, put it under your spine, put something under your head, open up your arms, but I'm not going to teach that today. So just take a moment and decide how you would like to get centered. We'll listen to a couple of chimes. We'll take some breaths. We'll set an intention, and then we'll get started with our physical practice. So take a moment and get settled wherever you are, however, even in bed. We talked about that on Monday. You could even be in bed, that's fine. Okay, so settle in. If you have taken a seat, make sure you're comfortable and you have the right support, that your pelvis is neutral and the spine is tall and that your shoulders are relaxed, and feel your grounding, whatever's touching. If you're on the ground, feel all the parts of your body that are touching the ground. If you're lying down, the back of the head, the back of the shoulders, your low back, the sacrum, maybe your feet. You may or may not want to close your eyes. If you're somebody that likes to keep a soft gaze, that's fine. Just don't over focus on anything. 3 chimes to bring us into this present moment. With each chime, you can say something to yourself. Each chime brings me back to my true self. With this chime, I am calm. With this chime, I go with the flow. Or just listen. Here we go. And now begins yoga, the union of your body, your mind, and your spirit or breath. Please take a conscious breath in through your nose and just be present for that entire breath in. Breathe out through the nose or the mouth as you start to let go, release, relax. On your second breath, breathe in love and compassion directed towards yourself. Doing the best we can. And on the exhale, direct that love and compassion out to all beings in the world. On your third breath in, breathe in something you want more of. Calm, groundedness. And on the exhale, release your worries. So please take one hand and place a hand on your energetic heart center, right in the middle of the chest where it feels natural for you. And place the second hand somewhere on the belly area. And sometimes just putting the hands here starts to integrate the nervous system. It just starts to bring things together. With your hands on your chest and your belly, feel where the breath is moving. You might feel it more up in your chest. You might feel it more in your belly. No right answers. And then on the next breath in, see if you can take a breath in and bring breath both into the belly and into the chest area at the same time. And on the exhale, let that be really passive and let go and feel the hands kind of sink back down. On the next inhale, see if you can lift the belly and chest at the same time. A lift in the hands, and then the exhale gets passive. Relax. One more. Let go. Okay, so let's Release the arms down by your side, or you can, if you're seated, you can put them on your thigh. You can keep your hands, your eyes closed. I'd like to give you an opportunity for 3 breaths of setting an intention. So, what's a positive thought, affirmation, or word you might use here? You can dedicate the practice to someone or something, or you can have some gratitude, maybe 3 things that you can be grateful for. So, any of those things you can use during these next 3 cycles of breath. After your final exhale, the 3rd cycle exhale, start to gently open your eyes. And if you're up on a blanket or if you're on a block or any kind of other support, we're all going to come down onto our backs. Okay, so you can come back to that gratitude practice or your intention setting or your dedication anytime during the practice. Okay, so for the lying down warm up, I call these lying down vinyasas. We are going to move from one thing to another with breath. And again, just breathe naturally if the way that I'm cueing the breath isn't working out for you. And reach your arms, overhead as much as feels good for you. We're all going to start lying on your backs. It's nice to have your knees bent and your feet on your mat. Arms down to your side, right along your side, with the palms facing in and the thumbs pointed up towards the ceiling. Whenever an inhale comes naturally for you, take the breath in and let that lift the arms up and overhead. Maybe give a stretch here, keep the low ribs in. And then on an exhale, hug the left knee into the chest. And you could put your hands around the front of the knee or around the thigh, or you don't even have to use hands if you don't want to use hands or you can't reach. Whenever an inhale comes to you, keep your left hand on the left knee, but reach the right arm up and overhead and stretch the right leg long on the mat, getting a good stretch through the front of the hip there. On an exhale, we're going to twist. So when an exhale comes to you, let your left knee drop over your midline. Switch your hands. The left arm goes out to the left, maybe it's shoulder height. And you can look away from the knee if you'd like, or you can keep looking up to the ceiling. And we're just going to linger here for a few breaths. So figure out how much you want that left knee to drop towards the floor or how much you want it pointed more towards the ceiling. Find your breath again. Because you're learning something new. It's kind of normal to lose your breath. Whenever an inhale comes, come back to center for the big toe pose. Put your hand behind the left thigh. Reach the left heel to the ceiling. Left toes are back. And bend the bottom knee. And you can either wrap your hands around the back of the thigh or your hands can be down by your side. Whenever your next exhale comes, bend the knee, left knee, and you might even hug it into the chest. That's an option. Inhale, big toe pose again, dynamic big toe pose, heel to the ceiling, toes back. Exhale, hug the knee to the chest. Inhale, big toe pose. You can hold here or you can bend the knee. We're going to circle the foot in one direction. So you can look at your foot, breathe naturally, and then change the direction, circle your foot in the other direction. Probably hear some cracking. And then point and flex the foot a few times. Sometimes in between the point and flex, I'll pause and curl the toes in. So if you flex the foot back and then just curl your toes in like you're making a fist with your feet, and then point. I think that feels really good. Flex. Curl your toes in and point. Okay, come back to a neutral foot. Let's get into the hips a little more. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Okay, the left foot is off of the body right now. And there's a triangle shape in between your thighs. Stay here for a breath. Sometimes if your hand can reach, sometimes you can gently nudge. Put your left hand on the mid-left thigh and kind of nudge that knee away just a little bit. Staying here for a couple of breaths. We're Going to add on hugging the opposite thigh in. And if you can't reach, a lot of times we can't reach, you just hold on to this top leg and bring that in as much as you want, or stay in this shape, okay? So if it works out for you to hug the right thigh bone in towards your right shoulder, go ahead and do that. You're gonna bend the elbows to hug that in. And if you wanna add on some movement with more breath, you could take an inhale and reach the right heel up to the ceiling, straightening the bottom leg. And on an exhale, bend the knee and hug that knee in. On the inhale, straighten the bottom leg. Last time, exhale, bend the elbows, hug that thigh towards the shoulder. And then let's step your right foot down, but don't uncross your ankle yet. Start to just rock your hips from side to side. So your arms can be down by your side. I'll move my arms so you can see. So just a little rocking from side to side. You can imagine your shin bone is kind of sawing through the air. A little bit of movement. And then come back to center. We're going to slide the left thigh over the right thigh, a cross-legged position. You can stay here for a minute, a little bit of internal rotation in the thighs. If your hands can reach, or even if your hands can't reach, if you want to just lift the feet up, you can do that. Maybe hug the knees to the chest. This is a little bit like lying down eagle pose, but we're not wrapping the feet around the foot around the opposite calf. And if you want to feel a little bit of a lying down cow pose, cow face pose, if the arms are long enough, you can start to move the hands down the shins wherever it feels comfortable for you. Keep your feet bright and active, and maybe pull those feet alongside the hips. Knees are stacked. Some bodies, the hip sockets just aren't designed for this pose, so don't worry. Occasionally, I even add in a little bit of the pelvic tilts here. So if you know how to pelvic tilt, you could do a few pelvic tilts here. Or just hold. All right, so let's release the ankles if you're holding on, or release the knees. Step your right foot down. Take a breath in and reach the left heel up to the ceiling. Big toe pose. Exhale, bend the knee and step your feet next hip distance apart from each other. We're going to do the bridge pose. So bridge pose, the feet can step a little bit into the body. Don't overdo it. Don't have your feet way apart. Just find that Goldilocks with your feet hip distance, sits bones distance apart, pointed straight forward. So options for your arms. You can keep your arms down, palms down. You could do robot arms with your arms next to your side. Shoulders are always relaxed and away from the ears, with the fingertips pointed up, palms in. Or I'm going to show you lifting my arms overhead on an inhale at the same time as my hips. So you get to choose what you would like to do. So everybody, let's step into both feet strongly. Take an inhale as you lift the arms and hips and spine up. Let the arms go all the way overhead. Knees point forward. Your glutes are supporting you and engaged. If you want to stretch through the shoulders, keep the fingers reaching towards the wall behind you and roll down from the top of the spine to the mid spine, to the low spine. I still have my arms overhead if you're doing that version, getting a good stretch. And now let's everybody on your next breath, release your arms to shoulder height, or raise your arms to shoulder height. We're just going to do the table arms. I want to get your wrist stretched out because we're going to be on the wrist so much today. Shoulder blades stay on the ground. You're reaching the heel of the hand up towards the ceiling, and spread the fingers equal distance apart from each other. Draw the fingers back towards you, back kind of towards your head. Imagine that your palms are standing on the ceiling. So there should be engagement, all right? There's a stretch that's going on, and there's some strengthening that's going on in your forearms. So take one more breath in and out here. We're going to add on more to this wrist stretch. If you are interested in doing a little bit of a bridge, you can lift on an inhale. You can lift the hips up and hold bridge. If that's not appropriate, keep your spine on the ground. And use one hand, it doesn't matter which, to stretch out the fingers and the wrists in the other hand. So you can go one finger at a time, index finger, and then moving down the fingers. Or you can use the hand to stretch all the fingers back. Thumb goes out to the side, and take a breath. It's really worth it to work on the wrists before you start to put too much weight on the wrist. And then go into the other hand. You can still be staying up in bridge if that's working for you, or you can come down. You can be going one finger at a time. So I really like to have these wrists get warmed up in the non-weight bearing first, which is what we're doing. All right, so let's put the hips down, spine down, arms come back down to your, no, let's hug the knees to the chest. Let's hug the knees to the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Elbows are bent, knees are in, and then on an inhale, release the knees. Keep the hands somewhere on the knees that can move around. Exhale, hugs the knee in. Inhale, releases one last time, and then we'll do this whole sequence on the other side. Exhale, hugs the knee in. Inhale, releases. And then let's step the feet down. One foot comes down, the other foot comes down, arms to your side. Okay, so let's do your opposite side. Arms to your side. You should be on the right side, but do whatever is the opposite side for you. Palms are in, thumbs are up. Whenever an inhale comes, let that lift your arms up and overhead. Really enjoy your inhales today. On your exhale, hug the right knee into the chest with both hands. On the inhale, reach the left arm up and overhead, left leg long on the mat. On your exhale, twist, let the knee drop over center, switch the hand, maybe look away from your knee. So for most of you, it will be your right knee that's over towards the side. And we're gonna linger here. You can release the knee a little bit, or you can have it point towards the floor a little bit more. Whenever an inhale comes, big toe pose. Come back to center. Put your hand behind the thigh. Reach the right heel up to the ceiling. Toes are back. And then bending the bottom leg is really nice. On your exhale, bend the knee and hug it to the chest. Inhale, big toe pose. Heel to the ceiling, toes back. Exhale, bend the knee. And on the third one, it's the option to hold here if you like those sensations, or to bend the knee as you circle this foot. So we're going to circle the foot. So small movements, you can really find the breath again. In and out through the nose. Switch the direction, circle your foot in the opposite direction. And then point and flex your foot a few times. If you like that little add-on we did, and the next time you flex the foot, pause. Don't move anything except the toes. They curl in, and then point. Flex, curl your toes in, point. Last time, flex your foot, curl your toes in, point. Back to neutral foot, getting into the hips. Crossing your ankle, your right ankle crosses over the left knee. The foot is really bright and active. There's a little bit of a flexing there. Remember, you can stay here. You could just hug the top leg in with your hands, or you can bring the left thigh bone in towards your left shoulder. That's an exhale. If you want to add on, the inhale is straightening the bottom leg. Exhale hugs the knee, thigh to the shoulder, towards the shoulder. Inhale straightens the bottom leg. Last time, exhale hugs the knee in. Inhale straightens the leg. And then bend the knee. Step your left foot on the ground. Here's your big toe pose. Inhale, right heel up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knee. We're getting ready for bridge. Make your choices, what you would like to do. You can do different arms than we did. I'm still going to lift my arms up and overhead. Step into those feet. Make sure they're hip distance apart. You want your thigh bones to stay parallel as you lift up. Inhale, step into the feet, especially into the big toe mounds. Lifting the hips and lifting the arms up and overhead. On an exhale, keep stretching through your fingertips if your arms are overhead. Get a good stretch. Roll down. Top of the spine, mid-spine, low spine. And then come back to neutral pelvis. Everybody reaches the arms to shoulder height. So this time you can come to the table hands and keep the palms faced up. Okay, palms stay faced up towards the ceiling. Just dial the fingertips away from each other so they point to the sides. And now keep turning them to face down the mat or down towards your knees. So a different type of stretch. And take a couple of breaths here. Heel of the hand reaches up, fingers are spread away from each other, they're active. Okay, so let's release that stretch and then hug your knees to your chest. One foot comes up at a time. Exhale, hug the knees in. Inhale, releases the knees away from the body, but the hands are still on the knees somewhere. Exhale, hugs. Inhale, releases, and exhale, hug. So if you like to roll yourself up and down the mat, go ahead and roll yourself a few times up and down, and then roll all the way up, or step your feet down, reach your arm overhead, roll over to your side, and walk your hands down the mat. All right, so we're about to flow. We've been flowing, but we're about to do standing flows. If you have some challenges stepping forward from down dog or stepping forward from table pose, blocks can be really very, very useful. So find your blocks. We are going to be kneeling a lot. So if you think that a blanket would help you out or a towel, you can put that on your mat as well, but you'll have to step over it when we go through our flow, which is fine. It's not a problem at all. You just have to get used to that and where you want to put it, okay? So I'm not going to use the blanket because I have a really thick mat and I just don't need it because my mat is so thick. And have your blocks somewhere nearby where you'll be able to reach them. So let's come on up. However is comfortable for you to stand up. We're always going to begin in Tadasana, so here we go. So stand with your kneecaps forward. Look down at your feet. That may or may not make your feet parallel to each other. And feel the grounding in your feet. So important for us to remember our grounding. How do we find the grounding in the feet? Well, a lot of the times by lifting all 10 toes, just really put you in contact with the big toe mound all the way through, then the pinky toe mound. And maybe spread those feet out, those toes out from each other, and put the spread toes down to just widen your foundation. And if you imagine you press down with your feet and out with your feet a little bit as a Diane Bondi cue, it really can engage those legs. And you also want to feel right in the center of your heel some grounding, right? The tripod of the foot, lifted arches, strong legs. So I really like to start with all of the grounding. Imagine your roots are growing down into the earth, so supporting you. We need so much support right now. Crown of the head lifts up towards the ceiling, keeping the chin level. And as soon as you do that, the spine is really long and tall. You've got all kinds more room in between the ribs and the hips. Gently just relax your shoulders. You can draw them together a little bit in towards midline and then tuck the bottom of the shoulder blades. Imagine you're tucking them into your back pockets. So when you go into poses like the plank pose, chaturanga, we're not going to do a lot of chaturanga today, but if you did the chaturanga, you want to keep those shoulder blades on your ribs, the back of the ribs. Just take a moment here, feeling the strength. This is a pose. This is a pose that we hold for a breath or two. All right, so let's start our flow practice, our standing flow practice. Bring your hands in front of your heart space in Anjali Mudra. So if you're not lifting arms overhead, when I do that, you can do W arms instead, anytime that I lift the arms overhead. And you can lift the arms out to the side or you can go straight up, whatever is feeling good for you. Okay, we're gonna go through extended mountain pose to chair pose. Whenever an in-breath comes, let's inhale, arms out and up and overhead. Stretch through that side body. On an exhale, bend the knees, release the arms to your side or they might go back. On an inhale, keep the knees bent. Inhale, lift the arms and lift the chest a little more. Exhale, fold at the hips. Come down, touch the ground, keep the knees really bent. On an inhale, step your right foot back, high lunge. On an exhale, drop the right knee down. On an inhale, reach both arms up and overhead, upward lunge. Exhale, hands come back down. Inhale, step the front foot back into table pose. I'm going to turn so you can see. So in table pose, we're going to keep warming up those wrists. Fan out the fingers, have your wrists underneath your shoulders, curl your back toes under. Shift your hips back just a little bit. Let the pressure release in the wrists and lift your fingers and your thumb, okay? And then lean forward into your tabletop pose. Release the toes, they can point straight back. And just lift the wrists. So you're lifting the heel of the hand and keeping your fingers and your finger pads on the ground. Put your hands back down, heel of the hand back down, curl the toes under, shift the hips back, lift all of the fingers off of the ground. So we're just rocking back and forth. Come forward, you can release the toes, point them straight back, lift the heel of the hand, lift the wrists up. One more time. Shift back, fingers up, thumb up, and then come forward, uncurl your toes, lift. Good. All right, so I'm gonna come back here. So from here, we can do, if you'd like to pop up into a down dog, you can do that, but I'm going to start off with the puppy dog pose, walking your hands forward a lot, bend at the hips, pull the hips back, and release your head, and this is where you may need a block. That's why we have them nearby. You can put your hand on the block. This is our place we'll call our home. You probably hear that a lot in the yoga room, where we can stay. I'll be coming up during these poses to talk to you, but stay in your puppy dog. Stay if you'd rather do the child's pose. And we're going to feel the breath. If you're up in downward dog, that's fine. Breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe tap into your Ujjayi breath here. Just feel that breath. All right, please come back to table pose. And we need to figure out how you're getting your right foot forward. Some of you are going to step the foot out and around, out to the side and around, or you can move your hand, or it's really nice, you could just quick come up onto your shins and let everybody, however you want to, step the right foot forward. And then we'll take an inhale, lift the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands come back down. Inhale, lift the back knee up. Exhale, slide the back foot forward. Keep the knees bent, and then on an inhale, lift the arms and chest up into your chair pose. Exhale, arms come down. Inhale, lift up tall, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands into your heart. Okay, so we got it. Time to do the other side. Mountain pose. Push down and out with your feet. Lift through the crown of your head. Draw your hands in front of your heart, mind, and body coming together. Let's find your intention, your dedication, or your gratitude right here. Starting to feel the heart pump, right? Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, bend the knees, arms come down to your side, maybe all the way back. Inhale, lifts the arm and the chest up into chair pose. Exhale, folds forward at the hips. Inhale, steps the left foot back. Exhale, left knee down. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, front foot steps back. Table pose. Let's do some cat-cows here. So now we're into the weight bearing. Fan out the fingers, ground through the L of your hands. Make sure there's not too much pressure on the wrists. Your toes can point straight back or they can be curled under. Find your breath again. On an exhale, tuck the tailbone, drop the head, round the spine, maybe sit back towards the heels. On the inhale, come back to neutral table, lift the tailbone gently, and then reach the sternum away from your navel. Exhale, tailbone tucks, head drops, sit back. Inhale, come back to table and reach that heart away from your navel. One more, exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, your choice. If you'd like to do down dog, you can do the down dog or step your hands forward, shift your hips back, puppy dog, or you can sit all the way back into extended child's or your arms. If you can't reach arms overhead today, you can have your arms by your side. If you're not kneeling, you can take a seat here. You just go into cross-legged. We're going to be here for several breaths. If you're up in the down dog, do any movements that feel good for you. Finding your inhale and exhale through the nose. Maybe finding that Ujjayi, smooth breathing in the back of the throat, the expansion in the three-dimensional expansion of your rib cage. Home. This is where we're home. We take a little bit of a rest. If you're still up and down dog, you're getting tired, come into child's pose for a breath or two. You don't have to hold the down dog the whole time. All right, let's everybody come up and back into your tabletop. And maybe you've learned what you need. Some people even grab blocks and have their hands up on blocks to step the foot forward. We need to step that left foot forward somehow. So get your left foot forward and then take an inhale and sweep those arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands come back down. Inhale, high lunge, lift the back knee. Exhale, slide the foot forward, keep the knees bent. Inhale, chair pose, arms lift, chest lifts. Exhale, arms to your side. Inhale, we lift up tall. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. All right, so we're gonna do all of that again, adding on some fun things in the cat and cow place. So hands in front of your heart, feel your heart beating. Think of all the good things you're doing for your body. Every cell of your body is loving this. On an inhale, arms out and up. On an exhale, bend the knees, arms come down to your side or behind you. Inhale, arms lift up, chest lifts. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the right foot back. Exhale, knee down. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands down. Inhale into table. So here you can do cat-cow, regular cat-cow. You might grab blocks here. I'll show you with blocks. Or we can reach our right leg out to the side. Toes can point forward and do a cat-cow here. So exhale, rounds the spine, drops the head. Inhale, tailbone up, heart away from navel. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale into your cow. Exhale, round. And the next time you're in cow, hold it, okay? So tailbone is gently lifted and maybe start to sit the hips back. I curl the back toes under so the left toes can curl under. Sit back a little bit, sit back a little bit, sit back a little bit. If you want to keep going, you can keep going. You could go lower. And if you want to keep going, again, not all bodies will like this. You could keep going and lift the left knee and get your extended leg, the toes and the knee pointed straight out. I'm on my toe mounds here. And then come on forward. We're gonna do the other side. All right, step that foot in and go to the other side. And if you needed blocks, you didn't have them, go get them. Left leg out to the side. And you could just be doing nice normal cat-cows here. Exhale into your cat. Inhale into your cow. Exhale into your cat. Inhale into your cow. Hold here. You could keep doing that or curl the back toes under. Shift the hips back a little bit. You could go down lower onto forearms, right? Such a sweet stretch here. But if it's too much sensation, don't go too far. And if you would like to keep walking the hands back, lifting your right knee and pointing the left toes and left knee up to the ceiling. You can take a breath here. And then come on back. Step back into your table and your choice here. So I'm going to do a down dog now, but you can do puppy dog or the child's. Down dog, hands under the wrists underneath shoulders or a little bit forward of your shoulders. Curl the toes under. Make sure your knees are at least hip distance apart. You could absolutely be on blocks here. Shift the hips back. Get your head in between your upper arms. Nice long spine. And then lift the hips up towards the ceiling. You might be way up on toes, and that's fine. You may surprise yourself. You might be able to start releasing your heels down a little bit. Or we could do a little pedaling. Always nice. Dropping one heel down, the opposite knee points straight forward. So a lot of the times, sometimes the knee wants to go into the midline. Try to just bend the knee straight forward. Couple of breaths. Or be nice and still. Stay grounded in through your finger pads, especially the L of the finger as you're in the down dog. So let's everybody come back to the table pose. And we're on the right side. Stepping the right foot forward. Find the breath again. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, step forward. Inhale to chair pose. Exhale, arms to your side. Inhale, stand up tall, extended mountain. Exhale, hands in front of your heart. Inhale, arms out. Exhale into chair, arms down behind you. Inhale, lift the arms and chest. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the left foot back. Exhale, knee down. Inhale, arms lift up and overhead. Exhale, hands down. Inhale into your table. Here we go. We can do some cat-cows here, or we can add on. If you like the leg out variation that we just did, we'll do that and we're gonna add on a little bit. Let's start with the left leg out to the side and do a couple cat-cows. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale into cow. Exhale, round. Inhale, cow. You can curl the toes under, sit back a little bit. Breathe naturally, in and out through the nose. And come forward. Now we'll add on the gate pose. We're gonna walk your hands towards the extended leg, towards your left leg. So just start walking over there. Put your hand on your shin and then just open up, stacking your shoulders. And you can lift the arm at shoulder height or you can release the top arm up and overhead. Take a nice breath here. Inhale. Exhale, beautiful side stretch. And then let's sweep that top arm, that right arm, down in front of you. It comes down onto the mat. Walk your hands back. And if you would like to go over to the other side, you might need a block. If you want to walk over to the other side, walk over to the other side. And we'll release this top arm. It sweeps in front of you. Stack the shoulders. And now give a good reach. I'm up on my fingertips on my bottom hand, reaching through my top arm, grounding through my standing foot. And then sweep your hand in front of you again, walk yourself back, and we'll do the other side. If it's not working out for you, again, like come to seated, do some seated things, do anything that feels nice for your body. Right foot steps out to the right side, and we'll do some cat-cows here. Exhale into your cat. Inhale into your cow. Exhale into your cat. Inhale into your cow. I curl my back toes under, left toes curl under. Shift the hips back a little bit, getting any stretch. Maybe come down into forearms. Take a breath. Come forward again. And gate pose on this side. I start walking my hands towards my extended leg, right leg. Put the hand on your shin just lightly. And then stack your shoulders, opening up the left shoulder, and that can just be at a diagonal, or it can release alongside your ear. Breath in, breath out, feeling that beautiful stretch from your armpits through your hip. And then that arm, top arm, sweeps in front of me. I'm gonna walk my hands all the way to the other side. I could grab a block. And then open up shoulder to shoulder. I'm on my fingertips down here. You can straighten your arm, release your arm alongside your ear if that would feel good for you. So you could look down, you can look forward, you can look up. There's always so many choices. Make it all fit your body. It should feel good. No suffering in yoga. And then let's sweep your hands in front of you again. Walk yourself around. We'll come back into your table pose. And then downward facing dog. Ground through the L of your finger, curl the back toes under. Take a breath in and on a breath out. Shift the hips back, let the knees pop up, head in between your upper arms and then lift up. Nice. So I'll teach you the skier legs if you'd like to learn this. Step your feet in towards each other. Bend the knees. And then you're going to turn your feet and your knees in the same direction, doesn't matter which direction, and push into your hands as you feel your hips go back in space. And then turn your feet forward. And now start walking the feet in the opposite direction, knees and feet point in the same direction. And then push into your hands and shoot those hips back. It's a good side stretch through the armpit and hip area. And then come on back, down dog. We can come into tabletop pose. We're on the left side. Make a plan. We're gonna step that left foot forward. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, slide the back foot forward. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, hands in front of your heart. Okay, I hope you're doing great out there. So I have another flow that we'll do. Let's see, how are we doing? Okay, we're doing good. So let's do one more flow where we'll do the high lunging now instead of low lunging, but you could do low lunge. And we'll do, some variations. So I'll teach you as we go through this one. Okay. And you can do this, the first variation of the flow if you'd rather. Mountain pose. Press in, down, and out with your feet. Lift up through the crown of the head. Catch your breath. Just feel all the energy flowing and the blood flowing through your whole system. Shoulders relaxed, gently squeezed together, tucking into the back pockets. Maybe a slight lifting in the low belly. Okay, so we'll bring the hands in front of the heart. I'm not going to go through the chair pose with knees bent this time before I forward bend, but for a lot of bodies, that's a nice way to go through forward bend, so feel free to add that. I'm going to keep my legs straight. Okay. On an inhale, take a breath in. My arms are going straight up this time, your choice. On your exhale, hands down the midline or out and down, folding at the hips, come all the way down. On an inhale, step the right foot back, high lunge. On an exhale, step the front foot back into plank, or you could go downward dog and then into plank. You could also put your knees down here for the plank. We're just gonna hold for a moment, pressing into the floor, feeling those shoulder blades on your back ribs, really pressing into the floor and drawing the belly up towards the spine. Reach your heels back, heart forward. Take a breath. Okay, everybody just come down onto your knees now, and then we're going to come onto your forearms. You can either keep fists, forearms down, you can clasp interlace your fingers, or some of you, if you can keep your forearms parallel to each other, you can open up the hands apart from each other and ground through the palm. So your choice how you'd like to do this. We're gonna do the forearm balance. So we're on forearm plank, I mean. So we're on our forearms, and now reach your feet behind you, straighten the legs, lift the knees. I'll turn. So we'll be in the forearm plank. Holding here. Pressing into the forearms, drawing your belly in, lifting the front of the thighs, heels back, taking a breath. Okay, so knees down. If you had your hands clasped, let's unclasp them. Coming into Sphinx, knees down, hips down, point your toes straight back. Lift, draw the heart away from the navel. You're trying to lift that spine out of your pelvis. If Sphinx is too intense, walking the elbows forward sometimes helps. I like to imagine you're pulling yourself forward. So I'm going to turn back. So imagine you're pulling yourself towards the camera, drawing your elbows down the mat, pulling yourself towards the camera. Back of the neck is long, looking down your nose. Legs are active, engaged. Glutes are slightly engaged. Okay, come all the way down. We'll do Bhujangasana, cobra pose. You come all the way down. Walk your hands down the mat a little bit till your hands are right around the mid-rib or upper rib area. Elbows are lifted. Elbows draw together. Legs are engaged. Glutes are engaged. And on an inhale, lift the heart forward and up. And again, pull the hands down the mat like you're trying to pull towards the screen. Pull your heart towards the screen. And you can either push up from here into the down dog. You could come back down, take a breath, and then push up into the down dog. Some people push through plank and then into down dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hips up and back. You could be in puppy dog. You could be in child's. You can pedal out your feet. You can stay still and ujjayi breath. You could do those skier legs where we walk the feet together, bend the knees. You turn, you walk the toes and turn the toes out, feet out, knees out in the same direction. Push the hips back and go to the other side. So we can try, we're on the right side. We can think about stepping that right foot forward somehow. And that might be coming down into table and up onto shins and then stepping forward or getting the hand out of the way. But step the right foot forward and push off from the back foot. Step the back foot forward. You can bend the knees. Take an inhale, lifting through the chest all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of your heart. Okay, so we'll do the left side and then we'll cool down. All right, mountain pose. Press into the feet, down and out with the feet. Lift up through the crown of the head. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Catch your breath. Feel your heart beating. You are alive. You're practicing with me, so I think you're healthy, which is wonderful. Let's have gratitude for that. Okay, on an inhale, arms out and up. On an exhale, fold at the hips. Nice neutral spine as you come down. On your inhale, step your left foot back. High lunge. On your exhale, plank or down dog to plank. Let's hold the plank. I'm going to turn again. Pressing into those hands. Top of the thighs are lifted. Belly is lifted. There's like all of this strength in the front of your body. I know there's a lot of pressure on your hands. You could be down on forearms already. You don't have to hold the plank any longer. We're all going to come to forearm plank, and a nice way to do that is knees down, come onto your forearms, keep the forearms parallel or interlace your fingers or just keep fists, whatever works out for you. And then we'll lift again, lift the knees up, press into the mat. Some of you may have read about the 62, I think, year old man who held this forearm plank for 8 hours. Guinness Book of World Records. We're trying to just get a couple breaths here, holding it for maybe, 20 or 30 seconds. One more, inhale, exhale. All right, knees down, uncurl those toes, drop your hips down, lift the chest. We're in the Sphinx. So I love this way of getting down onto the mat without having to do chaturanga. So we're pulling the chest towards the camera. Draw the shoulders back. Engage the legs. So those legs should be neutral and active. Glutes can be turned on. And then come on down to Bhujangasana. If you'd rather do an up dog here, you could do that. Elbows up, drawn together, hands pull down the mat as you lift up. If you'd like to, after Bhujangasana, push up into up dog, you can do that. Or lie down on your belly and then push into down dog. If you're in the up dog, we're going to lift the hips back and up. And come into your down dog. Home. So we're home here to take some breaths. Catch our breaths. Find the breath in and out through the nose. It's a good place again to find an intention or your gratitude. So grateful for our bodies. Look at everything our bodies are doing for us. It's amazing. Okay, we're on the left side. We want to step the left foot forward, make a plan. We'll step the left foot forward. Slide the right foot forward. Maybe straighten the legs or keep the knees bent. Inhale, arms lift all the way up. And exhale. Hands in front of your heart. Okay. Woo, so we did a lot of movement. I hope you feel good. Let's get down on our mats, on our backs, and do some cool down, okay? So lie down. I'm just going to take a quick peek and make sure that you're still here. Yay. Okay. Take a drink. Okay, so let's lie down. Get what you need for final relaxation. So you can put on a sweater, you can put on socks, you can have your blankets nearby. We'll go ahead and lie back. All that movement. I hope you're okay out there. Let's hug the knees to the chest. One knee comes in, the other knee comes in, and just take a moment. Good job, everyone. Maybe release the knees. You can do some movement here, or you can just hold. Let's do some windshield wipers. Stepping your feet down. Arms are just a gentle distance from the body. Inhale, knees up. Exhale, knees drop to one side, and you can turn your head away. Inhale, knees come back up. Exhale, knees drop to the other side. This gentle movement, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. A few more times. Feeling things starting to cool down. If you remember the side that your knees drop to, let's just balance it out. Knees back up. Let's do some pelvic tilts. We're going to be doing the lying down butterfly or the straddle pose. So you may want blocks. I'm going to grab my blocks so I can show you. Okay, let's do some pelvic tilts. Sometimes putting hands on the body helps. Hands around the waist, fingers forward, thumb towards the back of the body, moving the hands down the body till you find the top of the hips and the front of the hip bones. Take a breath in, and on an exhale, lift the hip bones up by pressing the spine into the ground. You'll feel the belly draw in, the hips draw away from the knees and thighs. And on the inhale, drop the hip points so they point down towards your thighs, knees, feet. A little bit of an arch in your low back. Exhale, pulls the hip points up, pubic bone up, tailbone under you, belly's in. The inhale drops the hip bones down as you get a little more arch. Okay. So exhale, the spine presses into the mat. The inhale, the spine lifts, but it's all happening because of this rocking of the pelvis. You can find the breath, usually on an exhale, that's when we flatten out the spine and pull the belly in slightly, and the inhale is when we get the stretch in the front of the belly with the contraction in the back. A few more times. Okay, come back to neutral pelvis. And then for our last pose, you could find blocks. And then feet, soles of the feet come in, knees drop wide apart, having support underneath these heavy thigh bones, but opening up in the groin area, in the low belly, in the pelvic floor area. Another variation to this, you might like knees in, feet are off the ground. You put your hands in between the thighs and hold on to your shins or hold on to your ankles, more of like a flying butterfly or the straddle pose. So you could try that. See which one you like. We're staying here for several breaths. Finding your inhale. When you inhale, bring that breath all the way down into the belly and almost feel the pushing down on the pelvic floor to release it. And then let the exhale be really passive. Don't overdo that pushing inhale. Just feel a slight, just a little bit of an opening in the pelvic floor on the inhale. And the exhale, let that be passive. Inhale. Release all in the hips, groin, all that fear. Exhale, releases. Do a few more with your own breath. Okay, after your next exhale, let's bring the knees together or put your feet on the ground, knees together. If you want to do one more, knees in, or you can make some circles with your knees. Do a few things here that I haven't maybe done yet. You wish I had done. You were hoping I would get to it and I didn't get to it. Do those things. I'm coming up, but you stay down because I'm going to be guiding you in a moment. So just move around a little bit or give yourself that big hug, whatever works for you. All right. We're going to do some pranayama and then shavasana. So pranayama, lying on your back, is really, really nice. I'm going to highly recommend, even though I'm seated, I'm going to recommend you lie on your back, bend your knees, get things that if you didn't get warm yet, get warm. So our lymphatic system responds really strongly to movement. Lymphatic system keeps us healthy. It gets all like the garbage out of our system, and we need to pump it with our movement. So you just did a really good thing for your lymph system, and now it likes to be warm. So keep it warm. Keep it warming up. Get yourself warm. Okay, so the breath work I'd like to do is 2-part breathing today, and it's nice to put a hand in the places where we started. So a hand somewhere around the chest, heart area, and a second hand somewhere down around your navel, maybe a little lower than your navel. And just feel your own breathing right here. Keep your jaw relaxed and your eyes soft. Feel the places where the breath is moving the body. Tune in if there's anything that feels different from where we started in the body, in the mind, in any of your layers. And 2-part breathing, we can start with a gentle belly breath. On your next inhale, feeling the hand on the low belly, lift that low belly gently up into your hand. And on the exhale, let that be passive as the belly drops down. You can have a natural breath or go back into the belly breath, breathing low into the belly, filling up the bottom of that lungs. On the exhale, is passive. Relax. Do a couple more here. In and out through the nose. And then after next exhale, release this technique. You can stay with belly breath. You could go straight in shavasana if you've had enough. Or if your focus is still there and pranayama feels good for you and for your system today, we'll transition into the 2-part breathing. 2-part breathing is when you inhale into the belly area, so you'll feel that same sensation, just not as much, about halfway in there. And then the second part of the inhale, you breathe into the ribs, chest, that whole torso area. And on the exhale, you let everything go at once. All right, let's give it a try. On an inhale, lift the belly into the hand a little bit and keep going with the inhale. Move it up into the chest area now. And then exhale, release everything at once. Inhale, expand the low belly about halfway. Keep going with the inhale up into the chest. And exhale, release everything at once. Inhale into your belly. Keep going. Move the inhale to the chest. Exhale, release. One more. Inhale into the belly. Keep the inhale going up into your chest. Exhale, release everything. Okay, let's come into Shavasana. Shavasana can be done exactly as you are. So if you don't feel like moving, don't do anything. If you want to grab couch cushions or pillows and put support under your head, put support under your knees, do that. If you want to roll onto your side and have side lying, some people like to lie on their side. If you want to roll over onto your belly, to your front body, roll over, or legs up the wall. Make a choice. I'd like to guide you through a body scan. Starting to let go more and more. The corpse pose, the death of the ego. We start letting go of all of our roles and our responsibilities and our lists. All the things that keep us going in everyday life, we let go here. And we just are. A place to just be. Bringing your awareness to different parts of your body has profound effects. Please draw your awareness to your head and skull. Feel the forehead and smooth out your forehead. Relax in between your eyebrows. Feel your temples, soften your eyes. Relax the eyeballs into the eye sockets and let the eye sockets drop deep into the skull. Imagine dropping towards your brain and relax your brain. Soften your cheek muscles. Relax your jaw. Release the top jaw from the bottom jaw. Unhinge it there. Be a little bit of space, and as your tongue relaxes, it might settle into the bottom jaw. Let go in your neck muscles and start to feel the heaviness in the head, feeling the earth supporting your head, sinking into the pillow or the mat or the carpet. Keep bringing your awareness to your back body, all through the back shoulders, the top of the spine, mid-spine. Keep moving down the back body, lumbar spine, and all those muscles. Maybe that mid to low spine is pressed into the ground because your knees are bent. And then all the way down to the bottom part of the spine, the sacrum that connects your hip bones. Relax all those little muscles and ligaments. So relax your whole back body. Bring your awareness to your heart space. See if you can practice a moment of self-acceptance and love. We're all doing the best we can. Gratitude for yourself. Have gratitude for the practice. Open up your heart and connect to everybody who's practicing right now. We're in this together. Soften your abdomen, the low belly. Soften your hips. Relax your shoulders, upper arms, low arms, your hands and fingers. Both arms are relaxed. Awareness to both legs. Relax the thighs. Relax the back of the thighs, the knees, the back of the knees. The shins, the calves, the ankles and feet and toes. Deep sense of relaxation through your entire body. Can you let go more? I know how much you've been holding. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. Remember that you have the power to come back to this place of deep well-being and relaxation. Your yoga practice can lead you here. 3 chimes to slowly bring you out back to sounds and sensations. Please begin to deepen your breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Wherever you are, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes and ankles and wrists and be mindful of all of those movements. Stay present. And continue moving in other ways. If you're on your back, this is a nice time to stretch or hug knees or do anything that feels good for your body and feel those movements, moving the joints. If you had the legs up the wall, you can bend the knees, roll to your side and stay low for a breath or two. If you are on your belly, you can start to roll over to your side. So if you're on your back, bend the knees, roll over to your side. You can lift an arm overhead, roll to your side. Walk your hands down the mat, and we'll all take a seat together. Whoever is still out there, thank you for practicing. So we're going to sit in any way feels good for you. Cross-legged, legs can be straight forward. You can sit back on your heels, sit up on a block. But let's sit nice and tall. On an inhale, lift the spine and the spirit tall. On your exhale, draw your hands in front of your heart or place them right on your heart. The inhale lifts the heart up into your hands in gratitude. Exhale bows the head to the heart in deep honor, respect, and gratitude. May we learn to live like the lotus at home in the muddy water. Namaste, everybody.